please.
Ready?
Yeah.
Are we set? Anybody not ready?
No worry. Too many mics, not anywhere to lay anything.
Chief, before we know who you are, but when you start, just give us your name.
I will.
And spell it, please.
Pardon? And spell it?
Please spell it. Thank you.
Please try to speak up a little.
Okay, can everybody hear me with this voice? My name is Darren Pytel, D-A-R-R-E-N, Pytel, P-Y-T-E-L. I'm the Davis Police Chief. Thank you for coming this evening. So we want to give some follow-up information from the tragic event that occurred last night. And to kind of start off with just the information that we've already provided for anybody who's new. At around 6:45 yesterday evening, Officer Corona was dispatched to a traffic collision report. The collision involved 3 vehicles. It occurred on 5th Street between C and D Street, which is, 5th Street's one of the main arterials here in Davis. The 3 vehicles were damaged. There wasn't really extensive injuries in the collision. The Davis Fire Department responded along with an ambulance. This was basically just a routine traffic collision, investigation. We have witnesses that are reporting that the suspect rode up on his bicycle and was in some shadows on the sidewalk. And Officer Corona was in the street in between 2 vehicles involved in the collision. And the suspect basically just opened up fire, shot her once, and she went down to the ground, and he then ended up shooting her multiple times. At that point, he unloaded a magazine, so he expended all the rounds in a magazine, reloaded, and then started shooting in another direction. Several bullets hit a fire truck. Other bullets went across the street. At least one house was struck. We have a report that a bus that was going by was also struck with a bullet. And we have information that came in today that a person who was wearing a backpack, the backpack was struck with a bullet. Nobody else was injured other than Officer Corona. As he expended all the ammunition in that magazine, he then reloaded and went towards one of the fire rescue squads. At that point, one of the firefighters inside he got out, started to run. The suspect shot towards the firefighter. One round hit him in the boot. He was not injured. He continued to run. The suspect at that point left, going southbound on C Street towards 3rd Street. It appears that he basically circled the block, came back up E Street, ended up going into a residence at 501 E Street. It was there that he met with a roommate and really didn't show any signs that he had just been involved in this incident. Spoke to the roommate for a period of time and actually stayed outside and was watching what was going on, which was an extraordinary law enforcement response at that point. He then went inside the residence. He left behind a backpack, and one of the witnesses pointed out a backpack that he had dropped, and we were able to get information in the backpack, which ultimately led us to where he was and who he was. The officers who had responded to the initial incident were able to surround the house on E Street, and there they gave commands for him to come out. At one point, he did come out. It appeared to the officers that he was wearing a ballistic vest, otherwise a bulletproof vest. He did not appear to be armed at that time. He shouted some stuff, went back in, and ended up coming out again wearing a vest and had a firearm. At that point, he went back inside the residence. It appears that he pushed a couch in front of the door, And shortly thereafter, officers reported hearing a gunshot coming from inside the residence. We were able to eventually make entry into the residence using a robot. We didn't want to send any personnel inside. The robot has a camera on it, and eventually we came across the subject, and he was deceased. Is there any more?
No, it was clear at that point also that he had a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Yeah. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
Do you have his name?
I am not authorized to release the name. The coroner has to do that.
So the house where the roommate was, that was different from the East Street address?
No, that was the East Street
That was
address.
the East Street.
Yes.
What happened with the roommate?
The roommate ended up meeting with the officers to provide a statement, and he stayed at a location last night.
Was the roommate evacuated at some point last night?
Yes.
Do you have any idea or any clue why he would do that?
That is still under investigation, and no.
Did he have a record or any prior contact with your department?
We did have some prior contacts, but nothing that would indicate this type of issue.
Was the contact possibly leaning toward someone who was having a mental
No.
breakdown? Nothing like that?
No, basically he reported being a victim of a crime. Nothing that was extraordinary at all.
When was
When
that?
was that?
I believe it was sometime earlier last year, but I'm not positive of
You
that.
know, was his gun legal?
I don't know. I was made aware that there was 2 firearms, but I don't have any other information about the
What type
firearms.
of firearms?
Both of them semi-automatic pistols.
So you said he reloaded twice, right?
At least twice, yes.
So that would be, what was the capacity of the magazine?
I don't know. It depends on the pistol and the caliber.
How many people lived in the house?
I'm sorry, 2 questions.
How many people lived in the house on East Street?
I don't know.
How many times was Corona hit?
I don't know that either. I know that she was hit once in the neck, and I was told that there's other wounds, but I don't have any information on that yet.
But again,
I called
he,
the coroner's office
chief-
and they said that you had to, I'm so sorry, I called the coroner's office about the identification and they referred us back to you. So are you?
Which coroner's office?
I think it was the YOLO, I don't know, I had
The-
the number. but-
Yeah, I spoke to the Yolo County coroner today, and they're just not ready to, they're not at that stage yet. They did not authorize me to give out his information.
So
Can
will
you
it be
say how
coming
old
through
he
you or will it be coming through them?
It might be either or. Usually when they reach the stage that they are ready to give up his name, we coordinate. They may put it on us to give out the name, or they may do it themselves. We kind of decide at that point, but we're not at that point yet, so we're not authorized to give that out.
Have you said how old he was and his history in the community, how long he lived here, any of that?
I don't have any information about how long he's lived here.
Did
How
he
about
have,
his age?
had he ever
His
had,
age?
Have you
I'm
ever had
not
any-
allowed to release any information regarding his identity.
is there information that he at any point had come across Officer Corona before?
I have no information regarding that at all.
Chief, this must have been an incredibly tense situation there. The place is surrounded by officers and SWAT team. I saw the visuals on TV. Must have been incredible. And he went in and got another weapon and came out, is that right?
It appears that way, yes.
Can you describe at all what it was like last night?
Clearly, the officers that responded said that it was extremely tense and a difficult situation. They kept trying to give him, commands to surrender, and despite that, he went back inside the residence, twice and
Was there
ultimately shot himself.
gunfire exchange when he came out with the weapon or at any time with the
No,
police?
no law enforcement officers fired any weapons or used any force.
What kind of information did you find in the backpack that led you to him?
I actually don't know that. I was just told there was information there,
And that was left at the scene.
near the scene.
In terms of speaking with the roommate, if this gunman had a ballistic vest, had several weapons, and had come out of the home this way and walked up to the crime scene, did the roommate give any clues as to what was maybe going on with him that day, the gunman that day?
I actually haven't been briefed on that yet.
Chief, can you talk about the officer who died?
The officers who died. Yeah, Officer Natalie Corona, age 22, single. She started here at the police department as a part-time employee back in 2016. Basically, she was a junior college student and was recruited to work here at the police department by one of our former retired assistant chiefs, who was a college professor. And I had reached out to the chief and said, hey, we're looking for people who want to be cops, and we have a CSO program, community service officer, and we had just gotten authorization from the city council to hire temporary part-time employees and pay their college tuition for 2 years, and then hopefully bring them on and put them through the police academy and hire them. So Natalie was our very first person that we hired in this program. Ended up getting her education and finally got old enough to go to the police academy, and we ended up hiring her on to go to the academy. She graduated in July of 2018. We did her official swearing in August 2nd of 2018. She had just completed the field training program in December. So after officers graduate from the academy, they go through field training, working with, alongside officers and getting familiar with working out on the street. She had completed that, was out on her own for a couple of weeks until last night. More information regarding Natalie. I can tell you that this has just been absolutely devastating, the Davis Police Department. I just met with all of our members about 2 hours ago in this room. And what really hits us with Natalie is she started off as a temporary part-time employee, but she had a personality that was just energizing. And it didn't matter who it was in the department. Didn't matter whether they were the janitors that take care of the building for us, or me, the police chief, and everybody in between, sworn, non-sworn, men, women, everybody in the department. She was the most friendly, outgoing, and just wanted to be everybody's friend, and was. I've heard so many times in the past 2 days about, she's like a daughter, she's my best friend, she was like a sister. She was just somebody that everybody in this building respected. And truly, I don't think I've ever worked with anybody quite like her, that has just been able to make so many friends and leave so many impressions with so many people. This was really devastating to the department.
Can you clarify, I think it's clear, but I want to just make sure 100% here, that this suspect was taken into custody in the home where he lived?
He was not ever taken into custody. He was
Pardon me.
deceased, yeah.
But that's
But
where
in the
he
home
lived.
where he lived, yes.
Where did he shoot himself?
In the head.
You said he came out and shouted some things at some point. Do you know what it was that he shouted?
I don't.
Did you find anything inside, computers, notebooks, a letter, or anything like that?
narcotics, anything like that?
I actually don't have any information regarding that. The Department of Justice handled that scene for us, and I have not yet received any information or briefing from them. I spoke to them just very briefly first thing this morning. They just confirmed that they were working the scene and would take care of everything for
Is that
me.
the FBI?
Uh,
State Department of Justice.
the California Department of Justice.
Chief, this sounds like kind of an ambush.
Yeah, that's how we're describing it. This clearly to us looks like an ambush.
Chief,
Did Officer
just to
Corona
clarify,
have
he was
a
wearing
body
a
cam on?
bulletproof vest when he opened fire on the officer, or did he go back in the house?
We don't know whether he was wearing a vest when he opened fire. We only know that he was wearing a vest after he went to his residence and came outside.
Did Officer Corona have a body camera?
She did.
She did, and it was recording?
I don't know.
Was there a camera in the patrol car?
There is in-car camera.
And she was parked behind the 3 cars once she responded to the scene?
That's what I was told.
So it should, are you aware of any video of any of the incident at all?
I was told just probably 2 hours ago that we have a significant amount of video. It sounds like the video kept running. And it hadn't even downloaded in the system because the video was so long. So we haven't even started to go through any of it yet.
That's the video from the body camera or from the?
From the in-car camera. I don't know whether her body camera was activated or not. For a routine traffic collision, it wouldn't have been absolutely required to be activated.
She was wearing a vest, right?
She was wearing a vest.
But you said it was one shot. Was
At least one to the neck.
How long after the collision were the shots fired?
I don't know for sure. I was told that just within a couple of minutes,
Do you
but I'm
think
not,
that-
but I don't have the exact amount of time.
I'm sorry, Chief. Do you think that you will be releasing his name tonight?
So, so normally the procedure for releasing names, the coroner generally releases names. There's been a couple of times that the coroner has called us and said, okay, we're ready, you can release the name if you want to do that and provide it to the media. I have not actually talked to the coroner about this, and it sounds like maybe Lieutenant Dorshoff has, so.
I spoke with the coroner. I don't think it's gonna happen tonight. I don't even, fully expect that it would happen over this weekend.
So is the YOLO corner doing it or the SAC corner?
The person went back to Sacramento County Coroner, because I imagine Sacramento County Sheriff's doing the investigation and they work together very closely. I don't, it doesn't sound, I talked to YOLO Coroner, but it doesn't sound like they're there yet.
But the YOLO is like the agency of record, so if.
Right,
if-
so she's the one that would call me and let me know either it's okay to release it or they would release it themselves. But from my conversation with her, she didn't give me a time, and it sounds like they still have a lot of steps to go before they're at that stage.
So just to go back, this guy rode up on a bicycle? Do you know?
Yeah, yes,
And like not involved in the collision at all,
no,
and open fire,
yes,
unprovoked.
yes.
Did the suspect leave behind any notes that would lead you to learn his motive?
I don't know whether there was any notes or anything in the house that would suggest that. I haven't received that information yet.
The firefighter who was sort of chased down, can you describe that a little more? Was he actually being shot at? Was he
Yeah,
marked?
he ran, and while he was running, was shot at. One round hit his boot, didn't penetrate, didn't hurt him. I would say very, very lucky.
You mentioned one bullet in the girl's backpack. Do you know how it ended up in there and how it got stopped from reaching the body?
No, the information that I received from one of our investigators, that she had several items, including a textbook and a backpack, and discovered that one round had gone through several items and been lodged in a textbook in her backpack.
Was this a student on a bicycle or something, or do you know any detail?
No, I heard that she was putting items in a trunk.
Chief, is there any way for you to tell us how many shots in general were fired during this whole ordeal?
I don't have that yet. I'm assuming that once I get the investigation from the sheriff's department, they'll be able to tell me based on the number of shell casings that were found.
And then the people involved in the crash, how are they?
To be honest, I don't know. I heard that it was, minimal injury. I haven't spoken to him, and anything else would be speculation.
Were
There
they
was a
shot
vote.
at as well?
It does not, I have not heard any information that they were shot at. I've seen descriptions in the media from people that have talked to him.
Have you said whether he's a student? A UC Davis student?
I have not said that.
Do we know?
I don't actually know.
There was a Volkswagen involved, an Infiniti, and a third vehicle? Was that the van?
I don't remember seeing a van.
I saw a van that was being towed away this morning.
Yeah, there's one with.
Was there?
Yeah.
I remember seeing the three vehicles very early this morning, and I don't remember what they
How
looked
far
like.
was his apartment from the accident scene? Is it something that he could have seen or heard or heard?
Yes, he would have been literally within firing distance with ease.
Do you
And was
think
it semi-automatic
that
pistol, you said?
Yes.
you called this an ambush? Do you think that he could have perhaps caused the accident?
I don't have any information at all that he was involved in any way in the collision or caused it.
When you said you had had prior contacts with him, you mentioned that he had reported, he had made a report to you. Was it just one, or were there multiple
Ye-
incidents? Where he
I believe that there was multiple things, but they were being a victim and calling in stuff. There was nothing listing him as a suspect or anything at all involving anything.
Were any of the complaints that he made investigated or deemed legitimate at
that none of them were remarkable to me in any way.
Can you
So it was wrong
describe,
the past year?
I'm sorry.
It was wrong the past year?
I looked at the information last night, and I don't remember.
Can you describe the process of getting the roommate out of the house where the suspect was, and whether that roommate at that point was fearful for his own life?
I don't have any information on that.
About what time was the roommate evacuated?
Anything I had would just be a guess based on as things were kind of unfolding, but really don't remember.
Is that the person that was seen being placed into a patrol car at one point?
Could have been. The thing is, that we had multiple people detained last night. We had multiple sightings of what could have been the suspect, so I don't know at what point somebody was placed in the patrol car. Could have been.
this is
Do
a,
you know how long they knew each other?
I'm sorry, can
Do you
you,
know how long they knew each other?
I don't.
this is a minor question. Where was the officer when she was shot? Was she near her patrol cars?
No.
Just getting out?
No, her patrol car was actually some distance away because she had the ambulance and the fire engine between her car and the cars involved in the collision. So she was in between two of the cars that were involved in the collision.
Was she engaged in talking to the accident victims at the time, when, you know?
Yeah, the information that I have is she was just finishing talking to somebody and possibly giving back a driver's license, and suddenly she was shot.
So this was a totally routine, kind of, seems like a minor call,
Yes.
and these kind of turn tragic sometimes.
Do you know if she could have seen the suspect approaching, or did he come from behind her?
I have information that he came from the side. Based on how dark it was, we're speculating that she never even saw him. At this point, the person that she was talking to never saw him.
How's Officer Corona's family holding up?
I spent some time with him this afternoon. Remarkably well under the circumstances. We were able to speak for a while, and she has just absolutely amazing parents and amazing sisters, and while they're grieving, they're doing remarkably well, better than I would be under the circumstances.
The firefighter, was that the Davis Fire Department or the county?
Yes, Davis.
Chief, you said you had a meeting with your department today. Obviously, people grieving a colleague, grieving a good friend, someone they felt very close to. How do you motivate the department to keep going in the face of something like this? What would you say to them?
So part of it was talking to everybody about what happened and sharing the information that I've provided tonight. Many of the officers just hadn't heard everything yet. And I think that was key to starting to, for them to hear what happened and understand it to the extent that we can. We talked a lot about being there for each other. We talked about that we have a lot coming up in the next week. We have to plan a service. And we want to honor and respect Officer Corona to the best that we can. And I'm going to have a lot of people that are going to be involved in doing that. We have an honor guard that is with her and will remain with her for until the time that she's buried. And that's a very difficult detail for the officers, but something that's very important to us. They're coming together. We had our employee assistance program people, peer support, chaplains, our trauma and grief support. They were available for our staff. The community has really stepped up. We've had many people bring in flowers and leaving all the posters that you've seen outside, and we have more that are inside, and the community's brought us food, brought us coffee and drinks. And after I met with everybody, a lot of the officers and our employees, they ate, drank, and as I kept checking in, they were just telling stories about Natalie and talking through. That's all part of the process, and we have a department that's very close. We're fairly small, and everybody here is close and takes care of each other.
How many officers?
We're authorized for 61 sworn. We have a couple of vacancies right now.
I have to grab a mic, guys, real quick.
Chief, you said that DOJ was here. I guess why was DOJ here?
So, anytime you have a situation of this magnitude, pretty much every law enforcement agency you can think of will show up, and they volunteer to do whatever they can. And Department of Justice has an entire crime scene crew, and they showed up and they offered to assist. We made many decisions last night about accepting help from other agencies. We had just a massive law enforcement response, both local, from county resources, our mutual aid region, Sacramento. We had federal resources here, and so Deputy Chief Delaney, who was the incident commander handling that part of everything that was happening, CHP showed up, and they volunteered an entire major collision team to take care of the accident and take care of that part of the crime scene for us. We accepted that help. Sacramento Sheriff's Department sent an entire homicide crew to take care of the investigation regarding the death, and we were happy to accept the help from them. That was a good way to be able to relieve my people so that we can heal as a department and still have everything taken care of. Department of Justice said they would be happy to take over the crime scene involving the suicide, so we were happy to take the help.
So, so the DOJ is doing the crime scene of the suicide, and Sacramento County Sheriff is doing the shooting?
Yes, of Officer Corona.
Is there an official site for donations that the public could give to?
I don't have any information regarding that. I've spoken to a couple people who are talking about setting something up.
And any preliminary details yet about the service, when that will be or where?
I don't have any information. I'm meeting with staff tomorrow to start working on some of the details after I'd spoken to the family today. So we're meeting tomorrow morning and hope to have some information out in the coming days.
So without divulging more than you want about him, have you found anything in his backpack or his home or his roommate statements that indicate a grudge against police?
Still waiting for all of the information on that. I'm hoping that I'm going to get more information and brief from the Sheriff's Department. They've told me that they are still actively working the case, plan on essentially dedicating the entire team for the coming week or more, and would give me daily updates as they proceed through and take a look at everything. So as soon as I have more information to share, I'll be happy to share it with everybody.
Is there any indication that there might be warrants for him?
I don't have any information regarding any wants. I didn't see anything in our system regarding that.
Without being repetitive, did the roommate know him for a very long time, and was he as shocked, the roommate, as shocked as everyone else about this?
I don't know.
Chief, approximately how long did it take to infiltrate the residence at which the shooter was seeking refuge in?
With the robot? I don't, it took a lot longer than I would have liked because the couch was in the way, which took some time for the robot to deal with. So there was a deadbolt, which took some time to get through, and then the couch, so it took a while.
Do you know how many officers were surrounding the residence?
I don't.
Chief,
Okay.
So sorry, last question for me. What's the time of death you can recent of Officer Corona? Should I have 10 or 11 or?
I don't have the exact time of death. I went to the med center and they were pronouncing death basically when I was getting there, but I'll be honest, I don't remember what time that was. There was a lot going on.
Did you say how many times she was shot after she was down?
I don't know. I have not yet. I believe the autopsy is taking place early next week, and I'll get the information then, but I don't have it yet.
Where exactly was the backpack found from the suspect?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, somewhere in the downtown area.
You mentioned that the suspect had reported being a victim of a crime. I'm not sure if you already addressed this, but what was the crime?
I don't remember exactly. It may have been like a stolen vehicle or something like that.
I spoke with members of the Davis Community Church, which is right next door to where the crime scene was, and they said the pastor and a bunch of people came out. You know, was there a big crowd around the around the accident scene when the shooting kind of started?
I know there's additional witnesses, but again, the detectives are going to interview them to keep integrity in the investigation. And, I mean, we only have the information that they're gonna brief us on, so right now, we just don't know how many witnesses, exactly what they said.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was a witness last night. I haven't slept. I spent the night in 2 fire stations. They just gave me a ride out to my motorhome and I came back. The reason I'm in here right now, I'm telling you, I'm not 5150. I know some things, and there's some people that don't want me to know what I know. And the thing of it is, I came here for protection right now. I don't care if you arrest me, you can call me 5150 or anything, but I'm not going back out there. The sheriff brought me out to my motorhome, and I came back in town. I'm trying to get to Sacramento, and I'm scared. And the thing of it is, I'm just letting you know, I'm Gerald Holters III. I don't want no cameras or nothing, but I'm telling you, I cannot go out that door right now.
All right, why don't you hang out there, and then I'll have somebody come in and work with you.
I'm not gonna say another word. I can't leave this room right
Okay, you can just hang out in that chair then. Is that cool?
Just hang out in that chair, and
Okay,
we'll
thank
work
you.
with you after this.
Have a
I
seat.
don't care if you arrest me, I'm not going out that door. My bike's out at the front. I know some things that people don't want me to know, and I'm not snitching on nobody or nothing. I just gave my report last night.
All right, why don't you hang
There's
out?
some people that don't want me to walk back out of here, or that want me to, and I'm.
Are there any other questions?
I don't care if you arrest me. I don't care.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate everybody coming in tonight. As we have more information, we'll release it. I'm kind of hoping this will be the last time that I have to come up here, though, honestly, and do this. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Does the Twitter communication method work good for everybody? We'll just stick to that then, as far as updates and whatnot? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for doing